Hello everybody. It's Lori. Hey everyone. I hope you are amazing. Tonight I've got something really great for you. We're going to talk about some simple but super powerful questions that you can ask yourself to create alignment, to stay awake, to take your blinders off. And especially, if you are on fire and love to manifest, which I know so many of you do. If you are on fire and you love to manifest, you are absolutely gonna love tonight, and I'm super excited. So oftentimes I ask myself a question and it's where I find my alignment. So I wanna give you 3 really powerful questions, and I'm gonna tee them up and I'm gonna share with you why they're so powerful tonight and how you can use them to stay clear. To stay clear, to stay awake, to stay on top of your alignment game, so to speak. So what I do know is I tend to attract spiritual seekers, right? I even tend to attract, other coaches who are doing the work, other light workers who are doing the work. And we're always looking for ways to stay cutting edge and sort of leading edge in our own daily lives. Why is that? Well, because humanness, right? So humanness, our humanity gets in the way. And I know that, if I'm always seeking to be the highest expression of myself, if I'm always seeking to create the dream, if I'm always seeking to create, this beautiful business that I work in, I know that you are all doing the same, and how important it is for you to manifest. So this is going to be good stuff tonight. This is going to be really good stuff tonight. Raise your hand if you're willing to experiment with me, because while it's certainly not an experiment per se, because I've been doing this work a long time. If you're new to me, let me know. I'm Lori. I'm the creator of the Manifestation 100. We've been going strong with this group for about, almost 8 years, maybe coming up on 9 years. And it's been just a really beautiful community. So welcome if you're new. I personally, just to tell you a little bit about myself, I personally have been coaching for almost 25 years, 24, I lose track a little bit, 24, it dates me a little bit. 24, 25 years-ish, I wanna say. And it's been an amazing ride. I started being a coach in the industry. I started this program. I was really young. I didn't know I didn't know what I was doing. I was just I'm gonna take my social worker, my therapist, my therapist education, and I'm gonna go out in the world and I'm gonna help people create transformation in a different kind of way. And the coaching industry had just cracked open, and I studied with a man named Thomas Leonard at the time, and I then broke off to do all kinds of training in metaphysics and energy work and coaching in different kind of ways, and really sort of over the years cultivated my own, systems in a way. And for a person who would consider herself really full of creative energy and not a systems person, I ended up creating programs and coaching programs that were very based in spiritual systems for alignment. So somehow, some way, and that's a whole nother story, but my guidance really hooked me up with creating spiritual systems that helped you to create, true alchemy in your life, in your businesses, in your dreams, turning kind of that silver to gold, going from who you are to really who you want to be. So that's me kind of in a nutshell, and just loving this journey with all of you. So tonight I want to talk about these questions. So this talk, right, is for you if you really feel on fire with desire, you have that deep desire, but you feel this I want to stay in my zone. I want to stay in my alignment. I feel so on fire. And really, truly, if you really, really get that alignment trumps action. And while I believe deeply in the action journey, I'm going to say to you, from what I've seen in my life and what I've seen in my practice, and I've seen in my hundreds of clients over the last 20 some years, what I've seen is that alignment needs to come first over your action, over your hustle. And when I find myself hustling, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go back to my center and find my alignment, because hustle really works really, really well when it's aligned hustle. So if you really, really get that, sorry, I'm so distracted right now. Jeez, oh man. All right. So if you really, really get that manifestation is an alignment job, you know how they say, success is an inside job. Yes, because it's an alignment job, because it's an energy job, because it's a frequency job. And so I've seen just so much magic that you would not be able to make up. I've seen so much magic happen over the years. I'm like, oh, how can we not believe that this is the stuff? It really is. Alignment trumps the action, and we need the action in this human journey to get the things, right? We don't if we want to win the lottery, we don't sit home and not buy a ticket. Like, we get the inspiration, we get lined up and we go get the ticket. And when I get inspired, like in my work, right? I have this great idea and I feel inspired and I'm all lined up, and then I bring it to you and I take the action and I hit the play button and I say, hey, how's it going? Tonight's live stream is, and that's my action. And it's like, this doesn't happen without the action. But if I were to seriously put a percentage on it, I would really literally be like, it's 96.999 or 97.999. Alignment and emotion and energy and frequency and dancing with this beautiful field of consciousness called the universe that we get to create with the energies. It's 97% alignment, and it's 3% push things around in the physical universe to get stuff done and to live the experience of it. So if you are here, these questions are going to light you up. You're going to love them. It's what I would ask myself. And if you have willingness, Jim Oval's in the house, but he's not in this house right now. Come home. Come home. Come home, come home. Okay, so he's on his way. So if you have willingness to implement, right, and you have a willingness to experiment with this tomorrow even, you're going to love this, because it's really the willingness. Most of the time, my clients and even myself, but have success in this work because we have just this like deep sense of willingness and playfulness. And that's where I want you to be with these questions too. I want you to just bring yourself and bring your playfulness with it. Bring playfulness to the party, because that elevated vibration will serve you deeply. Okay. So, oh, this is so fun. Okay. All right. So I think I already mentioned this, but I want you to know, and I teach this in many of my programs, and I go deeper into this work in the academy and so forth. But I want you to know that at the end of every question, and there's energies behind this, but at the end of every question is not just a question mark, okay? But it's a space. It is a space that is opened up for an answer. And the answer is attracted, right, to that space. And so we have a question and we open a space for an opportunity, for an experience. And I'm going to share what this is. But at the end of every question is this opening. There's an opening. And the opening for you might feel like opportunity. It might feel like exploration. It might feel like awakening. It might feel like, whoa, I took off my blinders for a minute and I can see with clarity for a second my path to alignment. And that's what I want for you. So in these live streams that I do on the M100, I'm always looking for like, where's the sweet little gateway that I can give you something to practice so you can have this experience of alignment so that you can trust in this universal unfolding, and even more so, like, start to trust yourself. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So if you are feeling out of alignment, or if you're getting sticky, okay? Or if you wake up tomorrow and you see, oh my gosh, I have these 3 questions and I'm sitting here in this humanness. I'm sitting here in my ego. I'm sitting here in my mind. I'm sitting here in my Sometimes we're sitting in our stuckness and sometimes we're sitting in our pain. But most of the time, I'm talking to creators who are sitting in there like in their desire, and they want something more and they want something expanded. And we get this little kind of stuckness that goes on, and we're like, how can I get over that so that I can create this massive flow? So one of the things that I like to do, and I love to do, is to state the obvious, because sometimes the obvious is not obvious. And so I like to put it in front of us because it's powerful. So, so here's some of the questions, and I'm going to tee this up. So this one is a little bit like, okay, I am stating the obvious, but I want you to imagine waking up tomorrow, or even going to bed tonight, or even after this live stream. Like, take notes on this live stream. But I want you to go and say, whoa, let me ask myself this beautiful question. At the end of this beautiful question, there's going to be a space for an opportunity and awakening to take my blinders off and for clarity. And I'm going to ask myself this amazing, powerful, simple question. Get to the point, right, Lori? Ask it. But the question is, am I running my life, my business, and my reality on universal law or ego, mind, human rules? So it's this question of, am I running my life and my reality and my business, which is an extension of myself and my life, but am I running myself on universal law or ego rules? That's number one. And the reason I want you to do that, it seems so obvious, right? Is because when we state that and we ask the question, we have clarity. Otherwise, it feels like confetti in our head. It feels like confusing. So we stop for a minute and go, whoa, am I running on ego rules, right? Or am I running my life on universal law? And feel this. It is the universal law, which is the laws of creation. And I'm going to give you an example in a minute. It's, it's the laws of creation versus the laws of condition, which is the ego rules. So really just feel this for a minute. Am I running my life on the laws of creation or the laws of condition? And the laws of condition, right? It's our humanity. But is that where quantum leaps happen? You ask, tell me this, do quantum leaps happen when we're running on the laws of condition? Let me ask you that. Do they happen? Do miracles happen when we run our lives, our businesses, our everything? Do they happen there? Like, I know the answer, and I know that you guys know the answer, right? But I want you to feel that, feel what that's like. So the laws of the universe, the laws of creation, sound like, excuse me, let me flip it over for a second. The laws of the ego rules. The laws of condition sound like, for example, I have a couple of them here. It takes time, right? So you want something to happen in your life and you're like this, oh, but it takes time. And we wait. That is the laws of condition. The laws of creation, universal law, would sound like this. Oh, I can collapse time. Oh, I can impact my reality. Oh, let me collapse time. Let me do that instead. So it's like there's a whole nother frame of mind. There's a whole nother operating system that happens when we choose the laws of creation over the laws of condition. Do you feel me on this? It might sound like this, laws of condition, the mind's rules, right? Might say, it's not possible. And there are thousands of things I could have picked, right, to explain some of these rules, but I just wanted to pick some of the basic ones so you could get your arms around it. The ego's rules, the laws of creation, the laws of condition, right, say it's not possible because there are not, these conditions are not correct, right? Let me test the conditions. Looks like the conditions aren't correct. But the laws of creation would say, well, why you think that way, because what I know is anything is possible. Anything is possible. So we open up like a whole different mindset. We open up a whole different come from, and we start to program our entire selves around universal law versus laws of condition, laws of the mind, laws of what I've been taught, laws that have been passed down to me forever and ever and ever, laws that have made me stay in my comfort zone for my entire, life sometimes, versus, wow, I just removed the comfort zone, or maybe I just expanded the comfort zone, or whoa, I don't need a comfort zone anymore because the universe is my comfort zone. So we start like associating something different, and we start creating something different. So you feel this when the end of every question, I'm going to repeat this a couple times because I have 3 questions for you. At the end of every question, oh good, is this helpful? Let me know. At the end of every question is a space, and that space is a possibility for an answer, for an explanation, for some clarity. So I want you to ask yourself right now, am I running my life and my business and my reality on the laws of condition or the laws of creation? Which one? Because you stop and go, oh, I just examined that for a minute. Holy smokes. And then maybe take a look for a second and say, how am I running my life? And how am I running my business? And what am I creating? Because am I focused on the laws of condition? I certainly have a limited experience. Do you want that? No way. No way. Especially if you're on fire with desire, especially if you're like, whoa, I get it. I get the 97% is alignment and the 3% is the action, which also means, like, where does condition fit in there? So take a sweet look, right? Just take a sweet look. The question is not meant to have you down spiral, like, oh my God, I'm doing it all wrong. The question is meant to be like, oh, let me take a look at that, because when I do, there's an opportunity for a shift. And when I have an opportunity for a shift, I have an opportunity for a change in my life. So it also sounds like, let me just give you one more example. It also sounds like laws of condition would say, I'm not good enough because, or there's not enough because, or it's, this isn't happening because. So we base our life, the laws of condition, on scarcity, which is the whole, I call them the not enoughness, the not enoughnesses. And the laws of creation, universal law, would say something different. It would say, well, what I know is everything is energy. What I know is everything is love. What we're working here with is this infinite field of potential, which, by the way, you are so part of. Isn't that just amazing? Isn't that just like, God, profound? I mean, that's something to get super excited about, because everything is energy. That means it can be molded and shifted like a beautiful sandcastle in your backyard. So laws of creation might sound like, let me create from this infinite energy in front of me, and really take advantage of, in this very moment, everything that I could manifest, create, sync up with. Let me create with this beautiful field of consciousness. Ego would say, there's not enough field of consciousness. There's not enough particles to create what I want. Which, when we say it, and I state the obvious, isn't it like, well, that's silly? And then we go, oh, it kind of is. So what's on the other end? What's on the end of that question? A ton of possibility for you to explore. A ton of possibility for the universe to deliver you the answer to what you're seeking. And it might be a path that needs to unfold for you in your own awakening. But whatever it is, there's an opening because you asked the question. So these are simple, and they're powerful, and they're profound when you start to do the work. Raise your hand if this is helpful, because I want to give you something, if you're willing to put into practice. and see how it feels and to see how you start shifting with that. Okay, so the question is, right now in this red hot moment, am I running my life or my business or my reality on the laws of creation or the laws of condition, universal law or egoic rules? And where do you want to be? You know, where do you want to be? It's like, wow. Okay, number two, this is the next question. The next question is, right now in this red hot moment, am I operating from who I know myself to be, or who I desire to become, or parentheses, who I need to become to create the dream that I want to create? Because if you want to create a dramatically different dream or a dramatically different income or a dramatically different life, you want to look at, how can I be a dramatically different, beautiful expression of myself that's a vibrational match to that which I want to create? Like, who do I need to be? So that's the question. Right now, am I operating from who I know myself to be, or who I need to become, or who I vision myself to become? Because, you know, they talk about, you know, for years I've been in personal development, and they always talk about this act if principle. Like, just act as if and you'll get there. There is some part of me that resonates with the truth of that, because it's like, well, how do I need to show up? Because I have to do something different. I have to create a shift in myself. I have to shift myself just enough if I want to create a different result. So we can't create a grandly shifted life and leave yourself back where you were from high school. I'm being so dramatic right now for a reason. But you can't be your high school version or your college version and create the you that stands, that you go, oh my gosh, that dream accompanies which version of me? And there's a growth there. There's a growth of the dream, but you can't leave yourself behind. And sometimes, you know, people start manifesting their dream and they haven't even caught up quite yet, but you start dragging yourself along. But, you know, it's like so much easier to say, who am I willing to become to create the thing that I wanna, that I desire? Who am I willing to become? So I call this, am I operating from my habitual self? That's the self I know myself to be, right? The self I know myself to be, with all of my expectations, you know, the things that I can expect, all of my fears, all of my stuff, all of the things I think about me, all of the things I think about the world, all of the things I think about my level of perceived success, if I can get there, if I can't, if it's gonna be. This is my habitual self. It's the habitual thought that I have that's created the me that I am. Or am I standing in the highest expression of myself in this very moment? And what would it look like? So let me give you an example. So if I was operating from my habitual self, I would say, okay, I can't go live. Or I would say, all right, I can't play that big. Or I'd say, I worry what they're gonna think about me. Or I would say, I don't feel very lovable. I can't show up. Or I would say, I've never been able to meet that goal, and I probably never will. Or. But the highest expression of myself, she would rock it out. She would show up differently. And she'd say, you're worthy, you're enough, step up. There's no fear. If there is, we've got you. And when I say we've, I mean like me, myself, and I, and my entire divine team. So right now, am I operating from my habitual self, right? Or am I operating from the highest expression of myself? So what would be the highest expression of yourself? Could you wake up tomorrow in like beautiful, beautiful willingness and say, how can I be the highest expression of myself today? What would that look like? Would I be willing to expand something, just one thing, and step into that space today? And that leads you to a cascade of opportunities that you haven't even looked at yet because we're so used to being who we are. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. I am who I am. It is what it is. You get what you get when you have me. I'm this old. That is, by the way, I'm this old. That's the laws of condition, not the laws of creation. The laws of creation applied to yourself say, who do you want to become today? What would the highest expression of yourself look like? Oh, she would be worthy and wealthy and blessed and loving and expanded and strong and, I don't know, a badass in her own right. Like, what would that look like? So I want you to feel into your habitual self and find why do we stay there? Because it's comfortable. And why don't we go to the highest expression of ourselves? Because it's uncomfortable. Because, wow, what if that's too much? What if she's too big? What if she gets what she wants? What if, right? What if she radiates too much light and people don't like that? There's all kinds of things, you feel me? But I want you to be like, I'm gonna just ask the question. Because if you could make one tiny shift tomorrow morning in being the highest expression of yourself, or even asking the question, you open up this amazing, amazing opportunity for you to create something different. And not because you become so good at laying your vision down on the field of consciousness, which I teach you to do, but because you've gotten so good at the alignment with your worthiness, with your inner worthiness, your divine infinite worth, and you're radiating that, which makes laying it down on the field of consciousness and calling it to you so much easier. I like taking the easy route and ending up having you be the happiest version of yourself, not just the highest expression, but the happiest version. So right now, in this red hot moment, this is question number 2, and I have one more for you. Right now, in this red hot moment, am I operating from my habitual self or the highest expression of myself? The who I know myself to be, in other words, or the who I desire to become because I deserve to be her. That's the space that I'm holding for you, right? And I want you to feel into that and think like, whoa, what would happen if I held space for myself like that too? But here's what's magical. When you ask yourself the question, you are holding space because at the end of every question, there is one. And you get to do what you want with that question. Feel me? So let me know if this is helpful, and let me know if this is creating some clarity for you. And by all means, play with this because magic happens in the space that's created in the opening of the question. Do you feel me? So question number 3. Right now, in this very red hot moment, this is so simple, so state the obvious, but we don't ask it enough. What do I want and why? In one of my courses, I teach you all about the what do I want and why. It's a section of the work that we do, but I want you to feel into like the what do I want and why do I want it? Mostly because I want you to create clarity. At the end of the question, we have the space that's created, this opening, this awakening, but I want you to create the clarity right now in this red hot moment. What do I want and why? And I'm gonna dial you back for a minute. You don't have to, a week ago or so, I was talking about dialing up your vision. This is a little different. It's right now in this red hot moment, what do I want and why? And I want you to tune into yourself and ask the question because it might be a cup of tea. It might be to meditate for 5 minutes. It might be to eat that radiant, beautiful orange that's sitting on the counter. But what I want for you is to get like ridiculously dialed into and comfortable with the question of what do I want? Because we don't give ourselves permission at all to actually want what we want. So I want you to get comfortable with wanting what you want and asking yourself, why do I want that? Well, I want that beautiful orange because it will make me feel happy. That's why. And I'm going to experience that because I can. End of story. So I want you to feel the done dealness in the smaller things. But it's like we cut ourselves off from wanting. We believe, and we've been conditioned, the laws of condition. Let me travel back to question number 1 for a second. But the laws of condition would say, well, you're not going to get what you want, so therefore you shouldn't want. Because at the end of wanting is heartbreak, is failure, and loss. At the end of wanting is looking bad, looking greedy. Not true. But do you feel this? Like we've been conditioned to numb down our wanting instead of to dial up from a place of fun and beauty and creation. I get to want what I want. It's like saying to a child, here's a canvas and here's all the paints, but you can't really paint on it. That's what we do to ourselves. That's what we do to ourselves. So you get to want what you want and ask yourself, why do I want that? Because I want you to tune into, I get to want what I want in this very red hot moment, right now, right now, right now. And that question might lead you to, what do I want? What do I vision? So I dial you back to, do I want a hot cup of tea? Do I want to take the dog for a walk? Do I want to pet the cat? Do I want to listen to some... Why am I thinking Pearl Jam right now? Do I want to listen to some Pearl Jam? Don't ask me why that is coming out of my mouth. But do I want to listen to some music? Do I want to connect with a client? Do I want to make an impact? What do I want to do right now? And why? Why is that? Because it makes me happy, and that is okay. Because it brings me bliss, and that is okay. Because it brings me joy. Because I love the feeling of creating my life and my business and my income and making money and buying fun things. And I love connecting with humans. And I love having this full life experience. And I love having the joy. And I love the expansion and the expression. And that's why I do the things. But we have somehow put this weird spin on wanting. And I've even seen it where we've put this weird spin on manifesting as if it's some selfish act to manifest goodness in your life. I've seen some spins on that recently, and I'm here to say, let's have not an ego check, let's have a universal law check. Let's have a laws of creation check, a heart check for a minute. It's okay to paint. So when you wake up tomorrow, I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. It's important. What do I want and why? Versus, oh, you know what? I do need to add this. I did think about this. Let me add this. Instead of, this is another hiccup that we do, versus what I can't have, and here's all the reasons I can't have it. So the laws of condition have us swinging to the other side. Here's what I can't have and all the reasons I can't, instead of here's what I want and all the reasons I want it. A very, very powerful distinction. Let me raise your hand if that helps you, because I want to be super clear on the power of where you're focused. So not only do these questions open an opportunity and an awakening and help you create clarity and draw some possibility and some a breath of maybe some fresh air, whoa, I can tap back into creating my life and myself. And it doesn't have to be so based in all of this condition, all of this rules created by the mind. I can create in a different way, and I have to help you remember that. So here I am thinking, how can I help you remember that? And this is where we landed, these 3 questions. So really, the first one is, right now in this red hot moment, and I want you to feel into it in this moment, okay? Right now in this red hot, and there's a reason for that. Right now in this red hot moment, am I running my life and my business and my reality on universal law, which is the laws of creation, or the laws of condition, which are the ego rules? Which one? And from that, can I expand out? And number 2 is, right now, in this red hot moment, am I operating from who I know myself to be, my habitual self, or who I desire to become, the highest expression of myself? Where am I? How am I? And number 3, right now, in this red hot moment, what do I want and why, versus the why I can't have it and why. So feel into those 3 questions. Tell me if this helps you, if this helps you create clarity, if this helps you stay awake. Because here's what I do know. I mean, I know that humanity, I know that my humanness, I know that your humanness totally feels like it trumps our spiritual practice, that it totally trumps, and it doesn't. It just feels that way. It just looks that way. And so our job is to really step into like a quantum perspective. This will help you with some of that. And you know, there's so much more to like unpack and explore, but just this, you know, just this can help you step out of like the humanity that takes completely over some days, and helps you start and open a gateway to a journey that can be really beautiful in the, you know, the finding of who you are and the creation truly of those dreams, and really getting to the place where you're like, I've got this. I'm becoming who I am. I've changed so much, so beautifully, and I am now laying the vision of my future. I am laying my dream, my desires down on the field of consciousness and rocking out this magical carpet ride. So I want to give you that so that you have something to keep you awake. You know, if all you did was say, all right, am I living my life based on, there we go, I'm back. Am I living my life based on universal law or laws of condition? Like, whoa, that in itself is clarifying, because it lets you go somewhere. It lets you stay awake. It lets you choose the awakening, you know? And when we do, powerful things really, really can happen. So tell me like what your takeaways are. Tell me what resonated with you. I'd love to hear in all ways. So on the note of clarity, all right? So one of the things that I'm doing, and I want to like give you a next step, on the note of clarity, I am right now in this red hot moment, I'm offering clarity sessions for those of you that feel super nudged to get more clear, specifically on these things, you know, who really want like a mirror held up for them. I'm offering 15-minute laser clarity sessions just to help you jump off and feel into what's possible when you do this work. So it's kind of like we'll get together and we'll have 15 minutes for you to say, here's what's going on for me. What do you think? Here's what's going on for me. I'm not so clear. Where do I need to go? What do I need to work on? And well, do you think it's going to feel like these questions? A little bit. But I have this interesting ability to see inside pretty quickly in sort of a very clarifying way, some of the stuff that goes on for us in our humanity. So that being said, if you are interested in having a 15-minute, totally cool clarity session with me, give me a hashtag clarity and I will reach out and message you. They're fast and furious and beautiful. And just so you know, this is like totally just a way for us to connect. This is not an enrollment conversation. So if you're interested in learning more about the stuff that I have to offer, if you ask me, I will tell you and we'll set up another time to chat about it. But for now, these clarity sessions are really just geared to help you get super clear, super fast, and let me hold up a mirror for you on here's what's going on. And I need 15 minutes, but sometimes we need 5. So, so it's literally like, boom. So if you are wanting to do laser work and get clear, I would love to like connect with you. So it's #clarity. Let me know, because magical things happen in that space, and it gives me a chance to really like hold space for you and give you some very like personalized attention. And also, it is very different when I was just hearing this last week. I was on with someone else, and she said, I've been watching you all this time, but holy smokes, is it different when I'm on the phone with you talking about like my life? Because I came in and met with her, and it was like this container for this very fast and beautiful connection and transformation that was pretty remarkable. She's like, whoa, this is different, and it's different than you'd expect. So I want to invite you to let me hold some space for you. It's #clarity if you want 15 minutes to experience what that kind of level of clarity is about. And I would love to hold space for you. So with that said, #clarity, everybody. Also, I'm going to recap this. Let's get clarity. 3 questions, right? Right now in this red hot moment, am I running my life, my business, or my reality on the laws of the universe or the laws of condition? Number 2, right now in this red hot moment, and am I operating from who I know myself to be, the habitual self, or who I'm becoming, or who I desire to become to create that goal, that dream, that success, that everything? Did I say 3? I said 2. Number 3, right now in this red hot moment, what do I want and why, versus what can't I have, or what I can't have and why I can't? So I want you to feel into those questions. Those questions for sure, right, will start to ignite something in you. And then I want you to come to the space with me, #clarity, everybody. And I want to help you step outside of your humanity for a minute and see what's possible, and see the things that are sticking points for you that are holding you back, so that you can make some movement, and so I can really truly come and offer you a piece of value that will change your life in that moment. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, bye for now.